Welcome to another episode of the Women's Hoop Show. It's time to start closing out the WNBA season, as sad as that may be. But we're going to start gearing up for college hoops. That's exciting. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look back at our preseason WNBA predictions to reflect just how right or maybe a little wrong we were. But then we're going to unpack the top 5 storylines heading into this new season of college basketball, so you know what to keep an eye out for. It's going to be good. There's so much to talk about. As always, let's get into it. Hey, Autumn.
What's up, Jordan? How are you?
I'm doing great. Where in the world are you? I didn't even ask
everywhere. Literally everywhere. No, we just came from NC State. Now we're here in Nashville to hang out with Vanderbilt. We're on our college road trip. About to close things out very soon. South Dakota State will be our last school, but it's been fun going state to visit all of these incredible elite programs, sit down with these coaches and learn who these players are on and off the court. It's been so much fun, truly. I can't wait for college ball.
Oh, that's so fun. I love Nashville. Nashville is kind of an
underrated
city. It's really fun. I haven't been as an adult. I went for an AAU tournament many moons ago. So I was still in high school, but it's so fun. So you're gonna love it.
Yes. Honestly, I missed the mark. I have cowgirl boots and I forgot them. Like, I'm very upset. I did this wrong.
I know. Yeah, this is rookie mistake.
Right. Dust off the boots, man. But it's okay. After this, I'm gonna explore the city, see what it has to offer. I'm excited.
That'll be fun. And AU is in Nashville again.
Yes.
So it's a women's basketball town. It totally
I love
is.
it.
Okay, so we're going to talk about your college road trip. We're going to talk about college hoops a little bit later, but let's start with the WNBA preseason predictions. We both watched our episode from early March, and if you guys remember, I'm sure listeners, if you've been following along, we had some bold takes. We had some teams that we put in different tiers, and the tiers were the Contenders tier. These were the teams that we thought were going to be gunning for a title. And then we had the Feisty playoff teams that were going to shake things up. And then the borderline teams that had some question marks around them. We just weren't sure. We didn't know if they were going to be really good or really bad. Then we had the Bottomfeeders. The teams, and I don't remember it only being 2 teams. But
right.
I was like, why do we have a whole category for just 2 teams? But the Bottomfeeders, the bottom of the bottom. And honestly, Autumn, I think we were pretty good.
We were good. Part. Yeah, we played it safe a little bit. We made some bold predictions. We also said on the back end, we just got to see it. And we saw it. And you know what? I'm not mad at it. I feel good about what we said back in March. Fast forward to now, it's nothing crazy, y'all. So I'm not too mad at it. But there are some that I wish we could have got back.
Right. I know. It was so funny just watching it from the future. Like, yes. I'm from the future and this is not how it panned out, or this is exactly what happened. So it was funny to watch it back. But let's kind of go through it and see. I kind of want to see, yes, if we got it right or wrong, but why was it right or wrong? And I don't know, an early prediction if you would put them in the same tier next year, or if there's any movement. So let's start with the Contenders, because in that section, in that tier, we had the Liberty, the Aces, the Lynx, and the Fever. We had those as the top 4 teams. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Too shabby.
I'm not mad at that. When we get a little lower, this is where I hide. I'm like, I didn't say that. I don't know what you're talking about. But this isn't bad. This is solid.
This isn't bad. This isn't bad. Let's start with the Liberty because
Okay.
we were looking great at the beginning of the season. When they
Experts.
started 9-0, we were like, woo, let's go. We also we recorded it right after free agency, so I think that was a part of it as well. Is like some of the pieces were starting to really move, and we were starting to see what the team was going to look like. This was also before Natasha Cloud was a part of the Liberty, so we still put them in this contender tier before that. One thing that you did say was how big of a piece Kayla Thornton was going to be,
and I stand on
from
that
this
still.
Liberty.
Yeah,
Talk more about that because we saw it, and we also saw Benijah Laney Hamilton missing from this Liberty team.
Yeah, that was a major thing for me. For going from the defending champs to being first rounded, that wasn't on anyone's bingo card. And yes, you had talent from top to bottom, 1 through 5 on the bench. This team was strong. They had depth. But when you think about the missing piece, the heartbeat, the backbone of what they were, it has to go back to Benijah Laney Hamilton and also Kayla Thornton. Yes, you had Natasha Cloud come in. Yes, you had Emma Misa, some big time midseason acquisitions, bringing on free agents. You lost Courtney Vandersloot as well. That was a big piece coming off the bench. So that was tough. You saw what Caitlin Thornton was able to do over at Golden State Valkyries. Like, that's something that they needed down the stretch, down the push, because for the most part, a lot of outliers played into the New York Liberties. It worked against them. They were limping to the finish line when you look at the injuries. They didn't have Jonquel Jones for a substantial amount throughout the course of the season, the regular season. Brianna Stewart, we saw how she was, dealing with injury and adversity. Was Sabrina Ionescu fully at health in the playoffs? These were big pieces, and you didn't have that extra punch, that extra spark, and that dog-like mentality on both ends from Michaela Thornton, who made some big time plays throughout the course of the season. Her name we weren't screaming her name, the media, fans, different outside pieces, but there was no denying that she was a huge piece of why they were able to hoist up that trophy. And I saw Benijah Laney Hamilton come up and hug her team, congratulate them after a hard-fought season. I'm like, man, if she was suiting up with this team, like maybe we'd be talking about a different story right now. But without a doubt, undeniable that they needed them.
I'm so curious to know if you think, there's a lot of flux with 90% of the league being free agents going into this offseason. With the huge free agency changes from a few seasons ago, bringing in Stewie, JJ, Sloot, like that whole shakeup, do you feel like this is still a team that can say, okay, yeah, we're running it back? Like injuries, we had a new coach. Like there were so many variables into why the Liberty didn't have such a great year. It wasn't like we're just looking at Stewie and was like, you played bad. That's not what happened here. So do you see them kind of saying, okay, let's run it back. Maybe we'll have Benijah next season. Maybe we get one more piece, but we're not satisfied.
Yeah, this isn't a team that I would blow up. Yes, they were sitting as a 5 seed, but you have to look at all the adversity that they went through. And it wasn't a terrible season from the New York Liberty. They ran up against a very feisty Phoenix Mercury team in the first round. That was the toughest series out of the entire playoffs that we've seen in the first round. So they didn't have the best draw. I would not blow up this team. I think they have the right pieces in the locker room. I'm really excited to see who's at the helm of this franchise to lead them to that. But you have some superstars who knows what it takes to win a championship. And it might leave a very sour, it won't even might. It will leave a very sour taste in their mouth that they are the defending champs. And that's not in our DNA to get first rounded. So I think to have that type of adversity, you need that. Like, you need to get knocked off to see, okay, like, we can't just go cruise control at any point of the season, because there were a lot of questions of effort and intensity. A full 40 minutes coming from this team. I don't think we really saw the New York Liberty tap into championship mode. Now, if you see the success you had, followed up by the year that we didn't really get there, I think you come into this season with a new mentality and a new chip on your shoulder.
For sure. I also just want to put out there that this is from our executive producer, Leah Reese Dennis. She said on our call, she was like, thinking of their new head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a huge piece of this. We cannot deny that whoever they bring in is going to set the tone for this next season. You have the blueprint to win a championship, especially if everyone comes back, just like Sandy Brondello had. So it is going to be so interesting who they pick. Are they going to keep it in-house, go with someone who's an assistant? Are they going to bring in,
I don't know,
somebody who's from the NBA ranks? Are they going to bring in someone like a Christy Tolliver, a Teaspoon? There's also this rumor that it's this Big 12 coach, this Big 12 college coach. And Leah said,
I saw that.
Did you see that? Is
I saw.
it TCU's coach? Because
Mark
he
Campbell.
has that Mark Campbell. He has that connection with Sabrina.
Yep.
That would be insane.
That would be wild. I'm a huge Mark Campbell fan too. I just left TCU. I get it. He got it. The aura, the it factor. You want to play for him. If I have eligibility, I would suit up. Like, he's awesome. He's really a great coach, and that would be really cool to see. And it's not far-fetched anymore. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too deep into this because we're not there yet. We don't know who.
Yeah, we don't know.
But we see that a college coach who knows what it takes to win, it doesn't matter the level. If you have that blueprint, and you know what it takes as far as consistency to take your team where they need to be, when you have a formula, when you have an identity, when you have the right pieces in the locker room, when you have the right coaching staff. Carl Smezko was just that.
Yeah.
He was.
He's a great example. Just saying.
Just
throwing it out there.
If it was, we're just going to touch lightly on there.
Yeah, we just
that would be cool.
We'll see what happens.
I don't know who it's going to be, though. That's the interesting part of it. But that is an important piece of who is going to lead the charge for this team. It starts with coaching. You can't just have all these superstars and not be led. So who will that be?
Okay, another team that we had in this contender tier that we were so high on. If I remember, we actually gave them a round of applause for their free agency tactics. The Indiana Fever were in this contender tier, and I think it is so funny that somehow, some way, they still were a top team, despite it was really for none of the reasons that we had said
at all
they were going to be there.
Plot twist.
Same result. So we were right, but it was not because of this incredible Caitlin Clark season 2 that we thought we were going to get this DeWanna Bonner matchup. I did say, going on the record, I said, I'm very curious how this is going to play out with everybody on the floor all at the same time. It didn't. It did not play out well, because I'm sure DeWanna Bonner was not happy with her role, or something happened. But the Fever limped their way to the semifinals and was really close to being in the finals. Just not the team that we would have had pictured at the end of the season.
No, not at all. You know, coming into the season, we knew they were a potential title contender, but it looked completely different. We thought Caitlin Clark would lead the charge, and all of the other pieces that they brought alongside to build around their superstar. But it was actually Kelsey Mitchell who stepped up into full superhero mode. And just credit to head coach Stephanie White for being able to adapt and rebuild and re-energize different rosters mid-season, of course coming in the off-season, but mid-season, whatever she needed to do to surround her star and Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston with the right pieces, the right veteran pieces, was masterful in my opinion. And that was very like undeniable. Finishing sixth in the standings too, with all that they went through and still making it to the semis is crazy without your biggest star. But congratulations, shout out to them. Like they cannot hang their head one bit for everything that they dealt with. They still found a way. And that's what makes a title contending team, is when you find different ways to win.
You know, I'm still going to give them a round of
still
applause.
gonna clap.
Just full circle, you know,
Yeah.
Come on, Fever. I think if you take out everything else that happened, they made the best choice in bringing back Stephanie White. And I think this season really showed that. I think she is such a great coach, and she still got the best versions of players on hardship contracts, but also a Kelsey Mitchell, also an Odyssey Sims, and Aaliyah Boston, I think had an incredible season. So none of that is to the wayside. I think it's even more highlighted of how great they could be coming into a next year. This is another team who, yes, there might be a lot of free agents out there, but they should come back. They should be excited to run it back.
Yeah.
Because we are excited to see it at full strength. I feel like we got robbed a little bit of what could have been from this really great roster. So really excited about the Fever. I think we were spot on, even though it looked a little different. We were still right. A win is a win.
I'm gonna still give it to us. A win is a win. I'm gonna take it.
A win is a win. Okay, Minnesota Lynx being in this contender tier, of course,
no brainer.
I just thought it was so funny that we said it is going to be a revenge tour. It is going to be the Minnesota Lynx versus the refs. And it was like, were we seeing the future? Did we have a crystal ball?
We did. Because it was the same story again. We did. It was kind of scary. The things we were saying, we're like, man, even we'll get to this, but the Aces, you need to clip that. Because yeah, we'll get to it. We're geniuses. We're geniuses.
I just thought that was so funny. Yes, it was the Minnesota Lynx versus the referees. But the Lynx, again, what an incredible season. I feel like our preseason talk for them going into next year would be the exact same. There's a chip on their shoulder. They should stay together. Fee is having an MVP year. Even I said, I was like, Fee could have been MVP if Asia didn't have an incredible season. This is like a broken record again. So I think the Minnesota Lynx had solid pieces. They were so solid all season long. Had some injuries. Fee missing almost a month was a key part of that as well. And then her getting injured at the end, of course. But Minnesota will be back. They'll be back in this contender tier. And I have no doubt about that.
I don't either. You don't blow up this team. You run it back because they're so dominant. They're very cohesive. They're very disciplined. I think the only thing different that we'll talk about coming into this season is what will a full year of Dejanay Carrington do, because we missed out on Dejanay, like playoff Dejanay with the Minnesota Lynx in the first round. She went down versus the Golden State Valkyries. You have Nafisa Collier out in that last final game versus the Phoenix Mercury. Maybe that could have changed everything. Like if Fee plays, if Dejanay plays, we might be talking about a different ending in this type of series in this season. So you add those questions in coming into next season, I still put them in a title contending conversation for sure. No doubt about it.
Same. Las Vegas Aces. Whew. So we were also, I think this is why the Aces team were such a head scratcher all season long, because I don't think it was crazy for us to put them in the contender tier. I feel like everybody did, especially when you add Jewel Lloyd. We talked about it. So many of those players just were on the Olympics together. They had the chemistry. It should have been a smooth transition. And it was beginning of the season to the mid season where everyone was like, wait, this isn't what we thought. But coming into the season, right? Like, we were spot on to just have these high hopes, and then they brought it around to the end of the season to win it all. But
you said
talk about it.
mid-season they were going to figure it out and make a run. And I was like, my girl, she knows ball. Okay, clip it, because that wasn't the question. Like, yeah, the Aces are always going to be title contenders. I'm never going to bet against a team that has A'ja Wilson on them. There was no surprise that they were right back in the title conversation, but early on, the questions were, as we were in mid-swing, what is going on? Like, when is it going to click? You know what I mean? So March, we were a little spot on, but we needed to see how it will continue to transpire. And adding Jewel Lloyd, that was a blockbuster move, but it didn't gel immediately. It wasn't until All-Star break where this team really started to figure it out. And Becky bringing Jewel off the bench, that chemistry started to flow, bringing Alyssa Smith on a mid-season trade. And that was a game changer alone, but everyone bought into defense. They've been saying it all season long that that's what they need to hang their hat on. I thought it was just a masterful collective effort. And the X factor of it all was the supporting cast. That's something we didn't mention. We mentioned all the big names, so it was going to take more than that to really surround A'ja Wilson around success and run alongside her. So that's what was the game changer down the stretch to help them hoist up that trophy.
I just want to fully pat myself on the back because this was my quote. I think they are going to figure it out mid-season and soar through the end of the season.
Yep.
Soar. I say 16-game winning streak? No, but soar and 16-game winning streak, pretty close, pretty synonymous. I'm never right, you guys. Give this to me. Let me have this.
No, definitely pat
yourself.
It.
I love it, and I'm happy that it all worked out, and that there was still this idea that there are some question marks. There are some new pieces. What is this team without Kelsey Plum? We don't know. Kelsey Plum was drafted to the Silver Stars and the Aces. Yeah. Like, she had been ingrained in this offense for so long. It was right to have a little hesitation of what it was going to be at the beginning. So thank you. Okay. So that was our contender tier. And let's take a break, because when we come back, we still have our feisty tier, our borderline, and Bottomfeeders for those tiers in the preseason. And I just want to go through the ones that we were a little off on. So we'll be back. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show. We are still going through our WNBA preseason predictions. And in this feisty playoff tier, I believe I described this tier as the teams that could make some noise, shake some shit up. We had Phoenix Mercury in this tier. So shout outs to us.
Love that. Feisty indeed.
We said that their effort wouldn't be questioned, that AT would be somehow better this season because she has facilities and could be in recovery. So we were spot on for that. Atlanta Dream, we were once again high on them, and they were at one point a 2 seed. Autumn.
Yep.
Did you think they were going to be that good when you predicted they would be in this tier?
No, they proved me right, I would say. Like, I started to hop on the train, obviously, like a diehard Atlanta fan. I've already been on that train for sure, but game by game, I'm like, wait, no, we have something here. But as far as 2, I had no idea. Like, for sure, top 4, but 2, I didn't have
Yeah.
that on my bingo card.
Yeah. And one of the questions that we had was, I think we had a lot of faith in Carl Smesko, but we were questioning how would a Bree Jones and a Brittany Griner fit into his very 3-point heavy offense. And I can't understate enough how he was in the running for Coach of the Year because it worked. Everyone else was shooting threes. Naz Hillman was shooting her best 3-point percentage. BG was able to stretch it, but bringing BG off the bench towards the middle of the season, end of the season, it just worked. And I think that was cool to see us kind of question it, which everyone was. And it worked out. And I love that for them.
I do too. It was really cool to see the in-season adjustments too, how Naz Hillman had her starting moment where she was coming off the bench. Like that was the difference maker in the season, and tinkering with the lineups. There was a lot of adversity when it came through to injuries by your star players. Jordan Canada missed some time. Ryan Howard missed some time. A lot of players in and out to not really catch a flow. But bringing BG off the bench, which, come on, like she's an all-star, she's a champion, that wouldn't technically be in the same sentence, but she bought into that role. She came in and subbed out with Bree Jones, gave her some breathing time. They were able to work together in that way, and Naz Hillman was that difference maker, that X factor. So I think, coming into this next season, I think maybe if you bring another piece in, yeah, that would be interesting to see the Atlanta Dream possibly go further, because they have seen what they're capable of doing. And sometimes you need that hurt. I think the moment was probably a little bit too big in that moment. You need that hurt. You need to understand, like, we need to want it more than someone else. And unfortunately, that was the Indiana Fever. They wanted it more. And you felt that. So knowing what you can do and how far you can go, but getting in your own way, I think that could be a wake-up call and a blessing in disguise to experience that.
Absolutely. And I think one thing we didn't predict was Alicia Gray just being unconscious and having one of absolutely her best season as a pro. And I think that is still a nod to Carl Smesko's offense and the ability to get the best out of her in year 8. So I loved that. Love that. The other two teams that were in this tier, however, we had the Seattle Storm.
Okay.
And
not mad at it.
But this was Autumn's pick.
Oh,
wait. Potentially go to the finals.
Wait. Cut the cameras. Cut the clip. Turn off the mics.
You said this would be the least surprising team.
Oh my goodness.
They went confidence to the finals. Yes, you're very confident.
Wait,
What I will,
did I say dark horse?
This was your dark horse.
Okay.
I will give you grace because at this point in March, Olivia Miles had not yet said that she was not entering the draft and going to TCU. So we were under the impression that she was going to be that number 2 pick. And that was like the bulk of our conversation, how Olivia Miles would fit into this and how she can learn from Skylar and all this. Like that feels like so many years ago, so many moons ago. So I will give you that. I will.
Thank you.
I will let you roll with that.
Thank you. Let me rock.
The other team, though, we had Dallas in this tier. Now that's both of us.
We were down bad.
We said this team is gonna be so spicy, so feisty, so it was none of those.
It gave none of that. Did not give that one bit. But all right, that was a good thought.
Like what could have been? We going through the roster at the beginning of the season versus how the roster ended is like
completely different
teams. And we were so high on Paige Beckers coming to Dallas, and we mentioned names like Tiara McCowan. She's coming. Ty Harris. These are names that did not exist, that we never brought up again, talking about the Dallas Wings. So
That was on us.
That
But
was on us.
shout out to Paige Beckers, because we were on the mark, but that's not far-fetched. We knew she would have a seamless transition, especially coming from a UConn system that, breeds pros, and they, have pro habits every single day. They know what it takes. They have a system that embodies just that. So the transition, she was set up for success already in that way. And to see it come to fruition, just knowing her story, it was beautiful to witness. And now I'm excited to see who pairs up with Paige, not just on the court, but as a coach too. Like, who's going to lead her in her young career? So this is only up. That's why they got the number 1 pick anyway. It's only up from here. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give us grace still.
Oh my God, what a dumpster fire. The fact that they just have none of these players, they don't have their coach anymore. Like,
they had DeJounte, they had NaLyssa. It's just completely different. Some injuries as well down the stretch. Yeah, it was rough.
We said that they were going to be a feisty playoff team. They actually finished 13th.
Oh my 13th
goodness. In the standings.
No more quotes. No more quotes from us.
Okay, let's move right along from that. Okay, in our borderline tier, we had the Sparks, which I feel like is a perfect borderline team. Like, they were so close making the playoffs, like down to the last day that they could have made the playoffs. I still think we probably undersold this Kelsey Plum, De'Arica Hamby. Like, it was really good, and especially when Cameron Brink came back. So we were high on them, but they finished exactly where we thought they were going to be, in that borderline, not in the playoffs, right out of the playoffs. I think the Sparks should still be very proud, because it was at least watchable, which I don't know if we could say for the past couple years. No. It was watchable. It was just that defense, defense. They were towards the bottom of the WNBA. So that's something that they need to work on. But we also had the Chicago Sky in this tier.
Well, hold on. Courtney Vandersloot was healthy.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Fair. Okay. Yes. And we mentioned
me trying to defend us.
Yeah, we're trying to defend ourselves. We also thought, like, the Ariel Atkins trade was going to be just major, like this huge thing, that this was what they needed. And I mean, it was, but they needed a lot more than just Ariel Atkins.
Year 2 of Angel and Camilla. Yeah. I think that's still fair. I'm not mad at what we did in March.
Okay. That we didn't know just how bad it was going to get in Chicago. I wish I could have predicted that. I did say that I was still on my tinfoil hat that Allie Quigley was going to return to playing basketball. It turned out to be the exact opposite. They actually retired her jersey. So.
Yes, whole ceremony.
I couldn't be more wrong.
It's okay. Good thought. We would have all loved that, truly.
That would have been incredible. We were very optimistic on the Mystics. They were also in this borderline tier. How do you feel about how that fared?
Yeah, I love that. I honestly, just because we had them on borderline, I still feel like we undersold them because of how they performed, and they looked really good. Like, they were in the mix down the stretch of the regular season, in conversations to possibly knock off that 8th team for a playoff spot. Sony, Kiki, incredible freshman year, and what's to come. I'm so excited for this young group, how they continue to build around them. Those two are the anchors of this team, the identity, the faces, and you can see the buy-in, who they're bringing alongside to work along this freshman duo. Just the draft picks that they have set up for them as well. A lot of college basketball stars out there, which we'll get into, but they're primed for success. And I was really fascinated, impressed to see how they were able to take the best of the best to the wire. And it's only up from here. They're going to continue to grow and develop as pros. It's going to be exciting to witness, but you give them a few years, there's something brewing in DC.
Definitely. I mean, they ended up finishing in 10th place, but we at this point, it was before the draft. So we didn't know exactly who those draft picks were going to be for the Mystics. We just knew that they had 3 in the first round. And we were just hopeful based off of the draft last year that it was going to be some talent. But it was also before Georgia Amore, tore ACL. So
yeah.
I think it was just so much excitement even after we saw the draft. This is going to be amazing. Now it's excitement for the future. I think Kiki and Sonia getting all-star nods in their rookie years. I mean, it could literally only go up from here. Like that is so exciting. I think the Mystics could be one of those teams that jumps a tier in maybe even next season, but definitely in the next few seasons.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would put them as feisty because they were feisty this year. They would be one of my feisty contenders.
They were.
I would jump them up.
I would too. I think the Mystics are going to have a huge jump from the rookie and sophomore. And they're one of those teams that's like, okay, we kind of know who's on our team.
Yeah.
Everybody else doesn't know. We have a lot of rookies. So
yes. They're pretty set.
We're working with.
Right. They're set. They have that chemistry with each other. They'll continue to build on this for sure. They should be good.
Yes. Okay. Our final tier was the Bottomfeeders. And we got one right. I'll say the one we got right was the Connecticut Sun because we knew. We knew that it was going to be rough.
They blew up everything. So we knew. Everyone knew, actually.
Yeah. It was a bomb. It was a bomb that had blown up. We knew that was going to be rough. But we had the Golden State Valkyries down here.
So wrong. We were wrong. I don't know how wrong you can get, but that would be the definition of it. Wrong.
Wrong. Ooh. And I'm so happy about it.
Oh, I love
it. Happy with how wrong we were.
Yes. Such a beautiful story.
I think the thing too about the timing of this is it was so fresh in our minds of how they didn't make any moves in free agency and how we were all expecting that they could sign Kelsey Plum. They could sign Kelsey Mitchell. Like they could have had this huge free agency sign. And that's what I was predicting. But nobody really knew maybe some of these lower or unknown names. It wasn't a much of a trade value in those core players. So they kind of were forced to rock with what they had.
Yeah.
And it turned out amazing. Like for us to think they were bottom feeders to actually be a playoff team and have an incredible season.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
So happy. Beautiful story from start to finish. One of my favorite teams now to watch and for years to come. They've set such a great foundation and a new standard of what an expansion team can accomplish. Like you don't have to come in and just be happy to be here. You can come in and compete with the best of the best. And that just all came down to having the right pieces in your locker room, having the right buy-in from each player. Natalie Nakase had a vision. She had an identity and everyone poured into that. And it was beautiful to witness. No, there were no big names. Ultimately, the star of that team came out to be Kayla Thornton, who was an all-star. Unfortunately, she suffered a season-ending injury right after to not be able to finish the season. But you look at the foundation they've created, and there's only now it's only up from here. Like it's building blocks. You know what's possible, and you've now created a very attractive destination. Valhalla, that mentality that they have true and through for their fans. It's fun. It's exciting. They take care of their players. They have the resources. They have great marketing. everything to make this a desirable location. So I'm excited to see what they continue to do from here.
Man, did not think the coach of the year was going to come from our Bottomfeeders tier. Like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And you said it. I think that way different free agency for them this upcoming season. That's
Yes.
my bold prediction. I think there are people and players that I think we said in the previous episode, it was risky. You didn't know how it was going to be. It's an expansion team. I don't know. I'm at this point in my career. I don't know if I could take a risk and go there in free agency. Now it's not risky.
Sign
like
me
you
up.
know what you're going to get, and you
Yeah.
know who you're going to play for, the type of team environment, the fans. Like you have a better understanding. And so now I think free agents are going to want to flock there. So I'm so excited to see what this team looks like. And they will definitely, I mean, they already leaped tiers just as it is, but they will for sure leap some more.
Multiple.
Tiers.
Yes.
Multiple.
Yes.
Leaped
Love
over
that.
some people. Leapfrog them. Connecticut, I'm sorry.
Jordan, please.
I
don't know. Don't ask me.
You might still be here. You got some draft picks. I'm not sure.
I just don't know.
Truly don't know. I don't even know where you're going to be in a couple years. Like, where is your franchise going to be? Literally, location-wise.
Questions that need answers. Seriously.
I'm sorry, some fans. All right. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're talking college.
Woo!
I'm so excited. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show. Autumn. The fall weather is in the air. That means it's college hoops. You're on the road a lot. That also means that it's college hoop season.
Yes.
Oh,
we've made it.
I'm so excited.
I'm so happy.
So happy. And like we were talking about, it's a mindset shift to like switch off from WNBA to college. And there is a lot that has happened that maybe we forgot about.
Yeah. This is going to be a great refresh.
Yes. We're going to refresh you on 5 storylines to remind you about college hoops, to like get you back in the mindset. The first thing is MiLaysia Fulwiley. Do you remember her? The star guard with all the tricks up her sleeve. Yeah, she's at LSU now. That was the biggest news ever when it dropped. And then it took me to media day like a week ago to be like, oh yeah, that happened.
Crazy.
She's not at South Carolina anymore.
Man.
What are you looking forward to seeing her in the yellow and purple? It's going to be crazy.
You know what? Seeing her in LSU colors, it's now, I feel like I've seen it for years. For some reason,
interesting.
It's very interesting because she gives Showtime basketball. So it just makes sense. Obviously, I was very sad to see her walk away from South Carolina. I mean, just a great, dominant, electric player who just wanted a new environment and a fresh start. She wanted to stay in the SEC, and she wanted the opportunity to play under an elite coach, which I think you check off all those boxes. Definitely at South Carolina, playing under a Dawn Staley. She was a hometown hero, so that was the extra cherry on top. But I think it really came down to playing time as a major factor of that. Across her 2 years, only 3 starts at South Carolina. And we talked about her a lot as a bench player. She was the star of this team when it came to that scoring, flashy attack. But South Carolina, they're deep. They're dangerous. A deep guard rotation. So I'm excited to see MiLaysia really step onto LSU's team and create her own mark. Have that freedom and creativity that she likes to play with. I know that's ideal for her play style. LSU is a team that plays with a lot of pace and transition. They like to get out and run, and she's going to get an opportunity to play with the big three, like to create a big three with Flau'jae Johnson, and also Michaela Williams. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
be massive. Showtime basketball. If you've not went to an LSU game in their home arena, you have to go. I know that place is going to be jumping because she's going to get them out of their seat, like and one plays. But really excited to see how it pans out, because that's really hard to walk away from South Carolina. But I think when it comes down to it, she wants to be a star, and that's what she's going to get at LSU.
Yeah.
She's going to be the star at that team.
Just the explosiveness when you read off of Fulwiley, Johnson, and Williams.
Crazy lineup.
I mean, that is an insane lineup. What I thought was very interesting was when Kim Mulkey was asked about kind of where Fulwiley fits into this team, she said that she wants her to be the point guard. She wants her to be the primary ball handler. And we saw her mostly off the ball at South Carolina, just being more score. So now to see her kind of in that point guard role, how do you think that's going to fare?
You know what? I like it. I think it's going to stretch and challenge MiLaysia to have that opportunity to have the ball in her hand a little bit more. I thought there were moments when she was in South Carolina's system where she made like a flashy pass or whatever, and she just couldn't meet that pass with a player or connect with that player. Not all the time, but just here and there. I really feel like the system that's going to be put in place, that's more creativity, more freedom, more free flowing, I think that's going to cater to that. And it might not seem as a big of a stretch and challenge when she's comfortable in that system. So I like it. She has great ball handling skills. Like you mentioned it, she's explosive. She's very crafty, smooth like butter. If you know, you know. Like I love how Flau'jae really said she's instinctual. Like she has a good feel for the game. So I like the challenge because it just makes sense. Like you need Michaela Williams on the wing, and Flau'jae Johnson, she's great off the ball as well. And there will be opportunities for MiLaysia to work and cook off the ball, but I just think it makes sense with that backcourt for her to run point.
Yeah. From those three, yeah. That makes the most sense. I'm excited to see it all pan out. But you know what I'm most excited for, Autumn? Because I am petty. I can't wait to see when LSU and South Carolina play against each other, and they're in the same conference, and that is so crazy. Like, whatever. I probably will either be in the hospital giving birth or maybe even just in fresh postpartum. I'm not missing that game. I don't care. This is how I'm going to introduce my son to women's basketball. I got to tell him all the backstory. He has a lot to catch up on once he gets here.
Here's the tea. Yeah, February 14th. So if you have dates planned out,
I'll be good. Yeah,
that's
Valentine's
D-Day.
Exactly.
If you have a date,
TV. Yes.
Tell Bae, tell everyone, whoever you're dating, your Valentine's date. That's what we're doing over dinner.
I love it. Okay, I didn't know that it was that late. Dang, they're really making us wait. That's
February 14th, South Carolina at LSU.
Ooh.
Which I like. I like that because hometown hero coming back, that would have been cool to like, but I think the pressure's kind of off of you in a sense, facing your former team when they come to you.
At home.
This is your environment. You get to take over that. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, I like it. I like that a lot. Okay, we're talking about South Carolina. Let's talk about SC next, because two major storylines going on here. One is that it was actually just recently announced that Chloe Kitts tore her ACL, so she is going to be out for the season. And that, I mean, I can go on a whole rant about ACLs. They're terrible. Why do we have them?
Don't know.
That is such a big blow, especially this was like really going to be her breakout season, her senior year. Like that's big news.
Yeah, you talk about a 6'2" forward. She brings a lot of size to South Carolina. She was a 2-year starter, 2024 SEC tournament MVP, national champion. She helped South Carolina to the championship stage, obviously fell to UConn, but huge piece of what they do a first round draft pick. Like, you can go on and on. You look at the stats and they don't pop out because of the system balance that South Carolina runs, but her impact is so undeniable. Like you said, she was primed for a big year. Tearing her ACL, I just pray that she is well mentally, physically, emotionally for a major comeback that is in store for her. But it is a major loss when you look at their front court. And what she can do, she has guard-like skills as well with her size that she possesses. So I think South Carolina, with Dawn Staley at the helm of things, has a great way of figuring it out. Like, they have so much depth. You bring in Medina Okot, 6'6" from Mississippi State. I see her sliding in that slot in that 4 position because it is a little thin, or in the front court, 5 position. And then you have a Joyce Edwards too. So there's still room for domination. Trust me. Yeah. South Carolina's good. It just sucks because Chloe Kitts is a phenomenal player. Like, you cannot take that away from her. You might be good, but I think 2 can exist. You might be good, but that's still a huge blow.
Both could be true. Very much so. The other player that they just happened to get in the portal, Taniyah Latson, is at South Carolina, who was leading the country in scoring at Florida State, and now she's going to be under Dawn Staley's tutelage. I am so curious how this is going to work out, but it was very obvious during the Final Four, during the championship game. Like, it was like, man, you just need somebody who's going to go get you a bucket. Yep. And Dawn was like, I heard you. We're going to get the biggest bucket getter in the country in Taniyah Latson for her final year. And we'll show you. We got a bucket getter on our squad now.
Bucket getter, clutch, like, oh my goodness, crafty. Taniyah Latson is that girl. Like, nation's leading scorer, 25 points per game. I'm trying to think of a different way to have to describe her, but bucket getter is perfect. Like, volume, perimeter score. She is going to fit in this system so well, and to now be led by Dawn Staley. I can't wait to see how she continues to make leaps and bounds of like who she will be as a player. And she also reunites with Raven Johnson too. Like, they have won 3 Georgia State titles together. And she also was teammates with her back in high school. She had obviously connections with MiLaysia and Ashlyn Watkins. Ashlyn Watkins will not be playing this season. MiLaysia obviously with LSU, but there's connections there already in the backcourt with Raven Johnson. So that opportunity to learn and grow under Dawn Staley, having pro habits, that development that she wanted, and playing in front of 17K, competing for a national title. I think that's what it came down to, like, being the best of the best. She wants a title at this point, and time is ticking, and she knows, like, this is the best fit in the best system alongside of a guard that I have already a connection with, and Raven Johnson. I think this team is going to be something to deal with for sure. So, title contender. Absolutely. South Carolina always in that conversation.
In the preseason rankings, the AP preseason poll, South Carolina sitting at number 2. Even though someone like a MiLaysia Fulwiley leaves, because of what you have coming back and what you have in Latson, they're still sitting at that top spot, one of those top spots. Speaking of the preseason poll real quick, 8 teams from the SEC in the top 25. 5 of them are in the top 10. Think this is without saying that is the conference that you want to be looking out for. It is going to be very competitive. Again, we also saw that last year as well.
That's tough. Oklahoma, too, and Tennessee, I will say, for SEC. SEC is going to be tough. A gauntlet. Yeah.
A gauntlet every single night.
Every night. Wow. Woo! I didn't realize how many teams were packed into that top 10 like that. That's crazy. And top 15. Yikes. Yeah. Good luck.
In there. Good luck. I'll be watching, but I'm glad I played. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's tough.
Going to the other USC, on the West
Mhm.
Coast.
Mhm.
The big news that happened a couple weeks ago, but we were just so in the WNBA playoffs that we couldn't really get into it. But
Mhm.
JuJu Watkins kind of officially announced that she's going to be sitting out for the entire season. I think it was before that some question marks of, because she tore her ACL in the tournament, that was March. Was she going to come back maybe at the end of the season? But it wouldn't have been worth it. Just like
Mm-mm.
sit it out. Your future is so beyond bright, JuJu. You are going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
So it was still hard because it was just the reminder that we're not going to be able to watch JuJu Watkins this season. But it
Yeah.
was the right choice, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely the right choice. You want to think about player safety and health and the longevity of your
Mm-hmm.
career. Like, I kind of had a sense that would happen, but it's like a bad breakup. Like, you know what I mean? You knew it was coming, and then just that dagger, it's like, dang, the reality set in. So really tough, really sad that we won't see JuJu Watkins compete this season, but she's coming. She's going to have a huge comeback season. And I think you can draw parallels to Paige Beckers, too. I'm not comparing the
Mm-hmm.
two, but that
Yeah.
story of seeing how Paige was able to overcome adversity, sitting out due to injury, coming back stronger, and ending out with a title. A title still in JuJu's favor, for sure. She
Mm-hmm.
has 2 years of eligibility if she wants to use it.
Mm-hmm.
She will be a number one draft pick whenever she decides to go to the WNBA. But
Yes.
sitting alone, thinking about the college season, USC has become a desirable location because of the star power that she brings, that aura, that it factor. You want to play alongside a JuJu Watkins, and people know that they want that. So I think, whenever JuJu comes back, whoever can pair alongside her, they can make a deep run in March when it comes to hoisting up that national championship trophy.
Yeah. USC did have quite a bit of transfer turnover. I think a little more than I was expecting, especially because, they did finish with a solid run in the tournament.
Mhm.
But I think just, we talk about the JuJu effect so much. And I went back to last year's AP preseason poll with JuJu coming in sophomore season. They were predicted third. They
Yeah.
were third on the list.
Mhm.
Now, knowing that she is not going to play, they dropped all the way to 18th. Like
Ooh.
JuJu is that big of a gap. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter who else you brought in, what
Kiki
other
Erie
factors
Finn
you had.
too.
Kiki Finn
Mhm.
also, Rhea Marshall also. Like they had
Yeah.
a really solid team last season, but I'm curious, and I haven't done this yet, but I want to dive into who they had. I know they had another great recruiting class,
Mhm.
but they also had a lot of people leave. And I think it's also
Yeah.
because, okay, well, JuJu's not going to be playing. How many eyes is that going to get on me if nobody's tuning in to watch JuJu? Like there's so many factors of what that could be. But I just thought that was interesting, kind of that gap
Yeah.
from year to year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have. I think now the keys to the car is Kennedy Smith. She's an incredible
She is.
defensive player, but I really think she's about to take over offensively this year. She's so tough. She has a good frame to her, like big guard
Mm-hmm.
mentality. But Jazzy Davidson, like I'm excited to see what she does in her first season. I've been able to watch her whenever she's came to Atlanta
Yeah.
for the overtime takeover events that they have. So they brought in Cara Dunn. Who else? London Jones. I forgot about that.
Oh,
UCLA. So
yeah.
they got some pieces.
Oh,
We just
jeez.
got to see how it meshes together because this is a completely different squad. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
completely. I believe Kennedy Smith's the only returning starter.
Whoa. Wow.
Hmm.
Hey, they could still make some noise. They
They
could
could.
still very much make some noise. They'll be over in the Big 10, but moving to the Big 12, Olivia Miles will not be in a Notre Dame uniform come
No.
this season. In case you guys forgot, she is a horn frog. Is that their mascot?
Yes. TCU. I was just there. So I'm like, yep.
I
A
don't know
whole
why I
horn
second
frog.
guess myself. They
No, you got
are
it.
the horn Frogs. Olivia Miles is there. And Autumn, you actually got to go to TCU and stop there on your college road trip. Was it weird seeing her in purple? How excited is she about this season?
Yeah, I know I said MiLaysia. I was like, yeah, okay. Like I see it. It feels like I saw it last year and the year before. But seeing Olivia Miles in, black and purple, it was weird at first. We've seen her in Notre Dame as an Irish, like fighting Irish through her entire career. So it was a little different seeing her in a different jersey. But it was good to see the joy she had. She seemed refreshed. She seemed revitalized. She seemed like she was ready to hoop if the season started tomorrow. She seems very comfortable in their system. And that's something that she stressed. She wanted to develop pro-like habits under Mark Campbell, and that's why she came here. Mark Campbell had expressed a vision that mirrors a WNBA system. She's taken online classes, so she's able to really hone in on day by day being a pro. And I love whenever I sat down with Mark Campbell as well, like he really was meticulous about how he wanted to put her in different spots and on the court and how he wants her to be successful. And he also mentioned TCU has become a destination for second chances. I really love that because we've seen that too with Hailey Van Lith. With just anyone that he was able to bring in within his system and reach an Elite Eight for the first time, win the Big 12 for the first time. Just the history they were able to create with a roster that didn't technically play together at all. Like it was a mesh of vets from different programs that came together with experience and created something special. And I think when you look at what he's able to do with point guards and guards in general, Sabrina Ionescu, as we saw when he was at Oregon, the three of the last 4 years, Campbell's point guards has been able to be named Conference Player of the Year. And recently, it was Hailey Van Lith. So we know what he can do as far as molding talent. And I'm excited to see what he does with Olivia Miles. Even though it looked a little different seeing her in different colors, it might just feel right in this last chapter. So I'm really excited to see how it plays out.
Me too. I am so curious. I really want it to work out. I think I was just so high on the Hannah Hidalgo Olivia Miles pairing,
Yeah, we all were.
and wanting to see it another season.
Mhm.
So I want this to be like, okay, I get why you went here. This was the right choice. Like I just want to have those feelings once we
Yeah.
get towards the end of the college hoop season. But either way, I love that idea and that insight of her just being like, I'm a pro. Like already in my mind, I'm a pro and putting that work in. It's going to be super interesting. Thinking of the preseason poll, TCU sitting at 17th, Notre Dame at 15th. Notre Dame dropped all the way to 15 without Olivia Miles, which I thought was super interesting. The season prior, they started at 6. So I know that that's a huge difference, even when we talk about Notre Dame. But super interested about TCU. I mean, nobody was talking about TCU like a couple seasons ago.
No.
Now somehow they are fully in the mix.
You know what? We were just talking about the Valkyries, and just now I'm like, TCU kind of gives me that vibes. Like a mesh of vets from different, exactly. Is it the purple? Is it giving that? I don't know. But a mesh of vets from different places to create something special under this head coach, like and getting the right pieces. I don't know. It gives that vibe. Great facilities as well. I took a tour. I've been to like 65 campuses, and TCU, they got it. Not me selling their school, but literally, I loved it there. It was awesome.
Do you work at
Am I a horn frog? Because go TCU for real. No, but it kind of gives that Valkyries vibe.
Interesting. Yeah, I called TCU last year. I called them the Pac-12 All-Stars because it felt like everyone from the Pac-12 that when their teams were imploding and going to the ACC or the Big Ten, they all went to TCU.
That's where you go.
So I just thought that was so
That's
funny.
That's good.
So I'm sure I'm going to have that same feeling when I watch this team, and I'm gonna be like, wasn't that person from there and there? And that's kind of all college hoops.
It's everywhere. Yeah, I can't keep up. This is a great refresh. I'm glad we're doing this.
Yes, me too. Me too. Okay, last but certainly not least, we gotta
Mhm.
talk UConn, the
Woo!
reigning national champs. This is a team where we are definitely going to look out on the floor and say, "Oh, I remember you, AZ Fudd. I remember you, Sarah Strong." Can't wait to see UConn back on the floor. I mean, they're number one in the preseason ranks, as they should, because they won the championship. But
Mhm,
this is going to be a really good season for them.
mhm.
And I'm just, even without Paige Beckers, they still have so much talent. They're freaking UConn. This is what they do.
It's
They just
UConn.
reload over and over and over. Excited to see them. What you got about UConn? What are you thinking?
I this isn't spicy. It might be is it spicy? I don't know. I think they're primed to run it back. I know they're the number one team. That's what it's not spicy if they're the number one team. But I think they're primed to run it back. And this is the Paige Beckers, like post Paige Beckers era. This is AZ
Mm-hmm.
Fudd's team now. Sarah Strong was incredible in her freshman standout year. KK Arnold returns as well as a two-way guard. You got Kaylee Heckle coming over from USC,
Mm-hmm.
master ball handler. They call her K9 because she has that dog-like mentality. Ashlyn Shade has been a consistent, impactful guard for UConn. But the pick that's like getting me to say they're going to run it back is Sarah Williams. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like she is a hidden gem, and she's been a hidden gem her entire college basketball career, obviously, because Wisconsin did not have any type of success when she was there. But when I tell you, she's one of the best forwards in this college basketball scene. I think she's going to take over with the Huskies. And I can say that with my whole chest. She
Mm.
is going to make a deadly front court duo with Sarah Strong. And I think she works great in the high low action as well. She's a great rebounder. She's a great rim protector. She has great size. She's mobile. I think a lot of people are going to talk about Sarah Williams this season, and it is going to be a sight to see. So make sure you lock in very early. She had 15 points and 5 rebounds in the preseason game versus Boston College. I think
Oh
Gino
gosh.
Auriemma is
Dang.
he's gonna bring the best out of her for sure. So we've seen it time after time when UConn is healthy, they're at the top of the
Mhm.
conversation every single year,
Mhm.
competing with the South Carolina or whoever it's going to be in that mix this season.
Okay,
Is that
that
spicy?
just got me so excited. I don't think it's spicy at all. I
Okay.
think UConn is they're at the top. It would probably be spicier to say if they weren't going to run it back. But
Mhm, mhm,
this idea of Gino somehow getting incredible players year after year and being able to
mhm,
get them even better. But I think AZ, she is talked about already as a top draft pick, as a lottery pick. But
mhm.
I'm like, she could be the number one pick. Like, she's that
Yeah.
good. Like,
Yep.
she is a scorer, a shooter. When I look at her play, I see WNBA player. Like, you
Mm,
are just automatically a pro.
yep.
And that is so exciting. And you can just go through this season with that mindset.
Mhm.
Um I think that was the perfect primer. We are going to talk college hoops so much more. We still got to talk about UCLA. We still got to talk about
So
Texas.
much.
We still got to talk about
Oklahoma,
Oklahoma,
Tennessee.
Duke,
Oh my
Tennessee.
goodness.
There are so many
So
teams that we
many.
still need to get into because you guys, this is going to be a really, really good college basketball season. And I say that every year because it's true. The
Parody.
talent is getting there. The parity is
The parody is
there. That's
real.
what makes
Yeah.
it exciting. Long ago are the days, even though we're saying UConn's at the top, it was such a different conversation, years ago where it was just like, yeah, it's UConn and everybody else. I guess we'll talk
Yeah.
about some other teams. No, no, no. The
Yeah.
talent is spread across and it's going to be really, really good. Spread across conferences, across teams, across the country. It's going to be fun. It's going to
So
be
much
fun.
fun. Oh, we're here.
Woo!
We got a
We're
couple
here.
more weeks in full swing.
Well, we'll definitely have you back to break it down even more, but this is the perfect primer. And of course, we had to wrap up the WNBA season with the bow with our predictions.
Mhm.
This was so fun. Autumn, you're the best.
You're the best, Jordan. Can't wait to do it again next time.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an update. Your support means the world. And if you're feeling generous, leaving a quick rating or review helps more Hoops fans discover the show. And you can now see us on our brand new YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe there. Shoot us an email at women'shoops@odyssey.com to tell us what's on your mind. We want to hear your hottest takes, your burning questions, and all your feelings about all things women's hoops. We just might feature your note on the show. That's women'shoops@odyssey.com. The Women's Hoop Show is an Odyssey original podcast hosted by me, Jordan Robinson. Today, our co-host was Autumn Johnson. Our producer is Phil Switek. Our video team is led by Kurt Courtney and includes Tim Meikle, Evan Cox, Allison Jeffrey, and Lauren Vieira. Our executive producers are Greg Holtzman, Asha Saluja, Danny Freisinger, Maddie Sprunkheiser, and Leah Reese-Dennis. And special thanks to Moira Curran and Josephina Francis.